hello to each and everybody. Yes, I'm finally back, of course. I'm always here. I was never gone. Yes, guys, I am here to do another reaction of Russia in general. And this time around, this is a particular video of Agent Nesty. I do hope they don't mind me reacting to this one. And this particular video is entitled, What Russian Cities Actually Look Like. Okay, so we've seen like the houses, we've seen like, you know, some of like the great places, or like especially the subways of Russia. We've seen all of those. And actually this time around, she's going to show us what the cities of Russia actually looks like. So I'm curious about this. I hope you guys join me in, you know, witnessing this one. Of course, guys, I will be linking the link of this particular video on the description box below. Shout out once again to Agent Nasty. Guys, please do support the original uploader as well. And yeah, everything is going to be on the description box, so please go ahead and check those. So yes, and news to all of you, I will be able to finally translate my, you know, my comments and all of that finally in Russian. So thank goodness, it's about time. I know, but nevertheless, guys, come on, let's go ahead and check this one out. Agent Nesty's what Russian cities actually do look like. So yes, let's turn on the CCs and make sure that this is in English. All right, so without delay, 1, 2, 3, come on, let's play this.
I would be lying if I said that I like the idea of living in this grey post-Soviet blocks all my life. I was born and raised in such apartment, and this one, and then in this one. And if I would stuck in it for the rest of my life, blah. But you know what kind of changed my opinion? These doomer videos on Insta, where they show photos of post-Soviet districts, yards, and then you look at them from this side. It's not giving dull or hopeless, it's giving Eastern European aesthetic. Romanticization sustains my existence. But the real post-Soviet cities are a little bit more diverse than this picture.
Okay, that's good to hear.
My beloved Krasnodar.
Krasnodar is a regular big city in the south of Russia. Sorry for that, I just cannot resist. And it's perfect to show you where regular Russians work, live, and how much it costs. We'll start with my favorite sleeping
Oh my god, this is very well done. Shout out to Agent Nesty for a very well done video.
As in most post-Soviet cities, yeah, here a lot of old, grey, look-alike Soviet apartment blocks here. We call them panelki, which means panel buildings, because they're literally built like Lego from the reinforced concrete panels. These buildings are still a huge part of urban architecture in all Russian cities. About 70% of all housing stock in Russia are still buildings built in the Soviet era.
Oh, that's wow.
Along with their cost and prestige.
It's not like you need this information, but the Slav in me insists. You know, panelki are divided into Khrushchevki and Brezhnevki, named after Soviet leaders.
Okay.
They can be made of bricks too, but we still call them panelki just out of habit because, well, let's say they all look a little similar. Brezhnevki is considered an okay option. They're newer, have an elevator, which sometimes terrifies me. The garbage chute, which usually sealed shut, thank god, because if it's not, they're likely rats. And of course the classic Bodik, painted in standard blue or green.
Guys, okay, bless you. All right, so guys, okay, I know that we don't have similar circumstances in life, but you know what, at the end of the day, I do feel that no matter the circumstances are, for as long as you have a roof over your head, we should all be thankful for that. Because yes, living in a third world country, there's not a lot of, like, you know, apparently, but thankfully at the same time, we don't take it to heart. Although yes, life is hard here in the Philippines, but at the same time, we also see the brighter side of things. You know, this is what great with Filipino traits. We are just really like optimistic, and we just really just live for the day. No matter if we're like living under like what, a bridge or anything like that. Okay, we still tend to enjoy life, but at the end of it all as well, if we're so like concentrated on like what's happening around us, and we don't appreciate like, oh, this is so bad, oh, this is so this and that, we won't be able to live like freely, happily, and gratefully, if you know my drift. And it gets to really want to experience hardships before you'll be able to realize how blessed you truly are. We truly are. And you know what, some are even saying, for as long as I can eat like even like once a day, come on, I'd be more than grateful. So there are different circumstances in life, but at the end of it all, it's just a matter of perspective. But I urge you all to really ponder upon things, and really see things in a different perspective, for you to appreciate whatever you're having right now. I know I sound hypocrite and all of that. It's just it's just a food of thought, okay? So don't come at me, okay? Thank you. Woo! That's talent on its own, bruh.
But the most widespread, of course, my favorite old Хрущевка. I even got a night lettering of it.
Ah, she's so beautiful too. She's gorgeous.
Such panels are older.
She is so beautiful.
They have only 5 floors, no elevator. Apartments are super small. Kitchen is just like, but it is much cheaper. Advantages of living in old sleeping areas like this, besides the cozy and aesthetic vibe, of course, is that there are always public transport stops around, a lot of shops, often a public school, kindergarten, a free governmental clinic, and the fact that Soviet people got these apartments for free. I think this advantage overweighed many disadvantages.
Yes.
My parents told me about this, and to get one you have to work for at least 5 years in the factory, and then you have to wait 10-20 years in line, unless you was some successful scientist, sportsman, or just close to the parts. And that's how my grandparents got the apartment. They just waited 10 years in line because they was not some scientist. They got their apartment for free, but unfortunately not in the city but in the village. And then USSR collapsed, they just get it.
I lived in this kind of apartments for many years, and the main downsides, I would say, the poor heat and sound insulation. I remember every morning old man watching news on TV. How do you think did I know it was an old man? Because of his intense koch. Only grandpas are koching like that. And to kind of solve this problem, our parents was hanging carpets on the wall, and I was really surprised that originally it was for
Soundproofing, yeah.
Only later it became a Soviet style design. Also in many areas with older buildings, they often turn off the hot water in summer. Every year they change pipes, and every year they cut off water. And in these small apartments there's just not enough space for a water heater. So like many Russians, I had to heat water in pots on the stove. And you know how hard it is to wash your long hair with only one pot? It's just impossible. About 5 pots needs to be heated. I hate it. Do not recommend moving.
Tough time never lasts. Only tough people last.
Overall nostalgia, the fact that many Soviet and post-Soviet children spend their childhood here is what still gives these places a certain charm.
Yes, of
There
course.
are always playgrounds for the
That's so
children.
nice.
You see it literally in the center of the houses, so you can just shout at your kid from the window.
That's what we do. We don't have playgrounds though, but we just make do. Okay, whatever it is.
It's not always safe for kids, but we as kids, we didn't really care about. Well, since we are
Her
here now,
editing.
let's
She's
have a
she's gorgeous, by the way.
If I were a foreigner like you, I would want to visit just a regular city in Russia, not just a fancy capital, because this is the real
Yeah,
Russia.
I'd
The
love to do
real
that
local
if you
people.
know
You
if
how
given the
happy these
opportunity.
people are, then the foreigner comes to them, and if a foreigner just says "Здравствуйте," the joy on their face is just
Oh my
priceless. And
god!
saying "Здравствуйте" is pretty
Здрасте.
easy if you're
Okay,
watching
come
a
on.
foreigner just says "Здравствуйте."
Здравствуйте.
The joy on their face is just
I'm
priceless.
saying it correctly.
And saying "Здравствуйте"
Здравствуйте.
is pretty easy if you're watching Russian TV and learning language at the same time. It's my favorite. Lingopie. On Lingopie, you can watch authentic
Nice segue. Let's forward this, okay?
of this cartoon with the same
Let's forward this.
Only part of the Russian cities, young people mostly want to get out of these old neighborhoods they grew up in, and they end up here. The new panel buildings.
I don't even know which option is better, to be honest. These buildings don't make me happy either. Show me something that makes me happy this year. No, actually a lot of things are making me happy.
Good to know. Good to know.
I'm just afraid that in 40 years we will have the same old set buildings, just this time not grey but faded orange.
Krasnodar, as one of the fastest growing cities in Russia in terms of population, is expanding a lot. And on the outskirts of the city, there a few years ago there was nothing. You can buy a new apartment quite inexpensively by the standards of normal city, but to get to the center or even just leave the area will be quite problematic. There are severe traffic jams at rush hour, but practically every city in Russia has traffic jams.
Every part of the world, I
My
guess.
friends call these neighborhoods mortgage apartments because this is how most of them are being purchased. In Russia, it's still more common to buy an apartment than to rent it. And if you're not lucky enough to inherit apartment from your grandparents in Stalinka or at least Khrushchevka, closer to the center, you can get a mortgage for 20, 30, 50 years and buy an apartment in a new building. Mortgages is the base in Russia. Everyone is afraid of it, no one likes it, but still everybody takes it.
Of
because
course.
you will not be able to afford to buy it.
Unfortunately.
But still, our home gives you the sense of security, and it is better to give money for your apartment, what is going to become yours in the future, than to some other person. It is quite convenient to live in this kind of neighborhood, just because if you don't have to go to another part of the city to your work, you can just not leave this place because everything
Is it in
so
here?
close
Okay.
here. All the shops, beauty studios, and all of that, it is all being opened on the first floors of these houses.
Tasty period.
Oh, was that the Russian
It is all
McDonald's?
being opened on the first floors of these houses.
Tasty period.
Oh, what's it? Was it? Oh, really?
By the way, we don't have now Apple Pay or something like that, so I just purchased a sticker. This is like a payment sticker from my bank, and this is naked anime man.
As for the
Anime
parks
man.
and squares, like the big nice parks that are located in the different parts of the city, and not all neighborhoods are lucky enough to get their own park to rest, and usually that's gonna increase the price
Yes,
of the
definitely.
apartment if there's
Definitely.
like a really nice park near this neighborhood.
This far-off district suddenly got pretty nice, all thanks to a businessman who built a luxury park. The park became a hit, apartment prices shot up, locals worshipped this guy.
Oh my
Their
God,
sign
that's
in Russia, like
beautiful.
a businessman. Park like this you only see in Moscow or St. Petersburg maybe. Other regular parks around the city looks much more modest.
Some guy. I'm just riding an uncomfortable bike. So cute.
And now I want to show you what the really nice neighborhoods in Krasnodar look like. The ones that most locals would love to live, and me too.
Of course, a girl can dream, right? And there's no harm in that. Ooh.
But the cost of apartments in this neighborhood mostly unaffordable for young people. I used to rent an apartment in this neighborhood, and it was quite nice to live here, to be honest. Not only because it has completely different aesthetic, the area is really well maintained, and here is this new school building and a lot of shops and cafes and restaurants. It's just really nice, like, to walk around. and to feel like you're living in a good apartment and you can afford it. A year ago we rented an apartment in this building, and at that time it cost 35,000 rubles, and I guess now it's gonna cost like 45,000, and this is already someone's monthly salary. It was a small studio with modern renovation, and it was very good option. Also, when we first came to Krasnodar, landlord told us this neighborhood is prestigious also because it is on the corner of more prestigious neighborhood.
I don't know how widespread this is in other countries, but in Russia it's a common story that in the city center you can have a fairly large private sector, and this will either be old houses that the owners have refused to sell.
But here is a completely different story.
Oh, those are beautiful.
Who are these people who are living here and what they do? Then I lived close to this place. I really like to go and take a little runs in here just so I can run around and pretend like I'm living the life of my dream. If I could live in a house like this, so we will have like a little garden and my dog could go and pee in there, and I will not have to wait for an elevator for 10 minutes.
Okay, guys. Okay.
Beep.
Okay, guys, I have to pause right here. Okay, so tell me, I'm not so very, well acquainted with the type of like livelihood, the type of living conditions that you guys are in. So, okay, because on the previous videos that we did watch, we did see like a certain blogger was like blogging his neighborhood. Okay, so I do feel like some of you, if not most of you, do live in houses. Okay, because here in our country, I'm just like basing on experience. There's no way for me to kind of like compare it with one way or the other outside of like my own experiences. Okay, we don't have a lot of like skyscrapers, like any sort of buildings, unfortunately. Or maybe fortunately, I don't know. So we do live in houses. Like we do have our own like little backyard, little garden, little stuff like that. But it's not really like a pleasant house. Like most of us here in the Philippines don't live like glamorously, but we do live like in a certain house. We don't live in buildings. So what is really like the condition when it comes to I do feel like when it comes to like first world countries, most of the people do live in like buildings, apartments, and all of that, because of probably the population and all that. I don't know. You guys need to fill me in. I will rely on all of your comments.
In the most Russian cities, there are these neighborhoods with some luxurious houses. Sometimes they are. Who will understand these rich people? Sometimes they're located close to the rivers in these cities, to embodiments. Sometimes they're located close to the parks, and I'm located in some shit.
Можете сфоткать меня? Да, давай на...
Круто, сделай.
Okay. It's like like 60 seconds of fame, or maybe 5 seconds. I don't know.
And here we are in the city center.
Oh, I love
Every
that.
city in Russia has this nice center with the best bars,
Oh.
cafes, restaurants, and the most expensive apartments. Usually it's the old central street around which the city grew and expanded. In Krasnodar, this is the Krasnaya Street.
Oh my gosh, this is like so beautifully made. I'm like, I wanna go there. I just want to be like one of you guys. I just want to be like a local Russian. Do I qualify? I don't know.
I would love to live as close to the street as possible. It really feels like everyone here just have more money. When we were apartment hunting, the agent said there was no point in looking for an apartment in this area just because it is like so overpriced, but maybe this is just what she said to me.
I've been in other big cities in Russia, and I think Krasnodar has one of the best city centers in terms of authenticity. It's the blend of classic architecture, some buildings still from Tsar Russia.
This is so nice to hear.
Cafes, restaurants, and bars in these old historic buildings.
Ah, this is like video. This type of video makes me want to go there for
If you
real.
go from one of these ordinary looking arches, you can enter the whole open bar spaces. There young people like to hang out on Fridays
And Saturdays.
Saturdays.
The weekends.
By the way, if you are even a little bit curious about nightlife in Russia,
I am.
just drop me a little comment, and on the next night I will be out filming for you. I'd love to take you with myself to the bar. I mean, I can't wait to take with myself huge pink camera and be embarrassed in front of all of these people. Bar and restaurant culture is not yet 100% rooted in deep Russia. It is still more comfortable and cheaper to drink at home, and going out is more for special occasions. For a while, I was even feeling guilty because of how often I started to go eat somewhere in the cafes or work on my laptop, and they are like, who am I to eat in the restaurants so often? I was not raised like that.
Most Russians.
I
like
love
most
her
people
humbleness.
worldwide,
I love
work
her
hard
being
to
so
afford
true to
their
herself.
lives. While prices in Russia are still low compared to many other countries, wages are also lower. People live in ordinary grey-green neighborhoods. They raise kids, taking them to the nearest public school or kindergarten. They work in offices, stores,
Just like the
cafes,
rest
and
of the
open their
world,
own
come
beauty
on.
salons. In the evenings, they walk their dogs in nearby park.
Ah.
On Friday nights, they meet friends at a bar or head out of town to visit relatives
Oh,
or go
that's so
to
cute.
dacha. So it's like everywhere in the world. Surprise, surprise! It's funny that most of us live the same life, just in different decorations.
That's so true. True that.
I personally love this mix of old eras and
Me too.
modernity. And Russians like to mix their cultural aesthetic with neon and new elements, opening cafes and restaurants.
Oh my God, I
with
love this
style
girl.
decor. And it's not just nostalgia, in my opinion, it's also the part of the country's past which cannot be erased. I would not want us to get rid of Soviet architecture entirely. I'd rather prefer the modernization of it, making it more comfortable and, I don't know, maybe like a little bit more fun. I kinda like the atomic heart aesthetic. My mom is making fun of me because of that. She's like, we just get rid of all these carpets on the walls, and our generation just decided to bring it back. I'm curious, did this little city tour meet your expectations?
I love this girl.
Ever since I
I
got
love
so
this
many
girl.
followers, I'm really so afraid to not meet your expectations.
Oh my God,
So
don't.
please lower them. I think it would be fair to show you in other cities in Russia. For example, there I'm originally from, in the middle of Russia. Every winter
Oh my
there
God,
I
I love
sit in
this
depression,
girl.
and
I
would
love
love
this
to show
girl.
you why. So subscribe so you don't miss it. And
I
thank
am
you for
definitely
watching
going to
this video.
subscribe.
Now watch our ones, like, subscribe. Пока-пока.
And paka paka. Oh my God. Okay. I love this girl so much. Okay. Don't get me started. I am going to subscribe to her for sure. You guys should be subscribing to her. And you know what? If we're gonna be like friends or anything, I do feel that we're gonna be best of friends. We do have the same perspective, same attitude, same like nonchalantness when it comes to life and being so wacky and all of that. Oh my God, I love to know her. She's so gorgeous. She's so true to herself, and I love that. We all should be, inspired by being true to ourselves. At the end of the day, we don't have to impress nobody. We don't have to to be a person who we're not. At the end of the day, we just have to be ourselves and be content and be happy and, be sad probably. But yeah, we just have to be ourselves, and let's not try to compete with nobody, okay? Let's compete within ourselves, and let's just strive to be a better version of ourselves, and let's strive to make this world a better place. Really, really, really. And guys, know for sure you guys are lucky to be able to really breathe, okay? So just that, okay? That's one thing to ponder upon. I don't know about you all. Let's not be too dramatic. Let's not be too nasty. Let's not be too overly aggressive. Let's just try to take things relax, more easygoing. I don't know, man, but yes, I do love this. I love this for sure. And guys, if you have any more requests, please do write it down on the comment section below. And with that, be safe, stay healthy, and I do hope to see you all next time. Ta-ta! Paka paka!